My Mortal Kombat Tier List series has covered male ninjas, cyber ninjas, female ninjas, and sub-bosses thus far. The sub-boss video was received incredibly well, so I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in and sharing your opinion. After reviewing the many comments on what I should cover next, I think the answer is quite obvious.
That was pathetic.
Final boss characters in the Mortal Kombat series are absolute staples. They've given us the antagonists we love to hate, despite many of them having insane designs and abilities. Hell, I'm sure some of you watching actively root for them, and I can't blame you. Their impact on the Mortal Kombat series as a whole cannot be overstated, whether you like them, hate them, or find yourself somewhere in the middle. In today's video, I'm ranking all 8 Mortal Kombat final bosses from S, which as you know is the best, through D, which as you know is the worst. These rankings are based on each character's design, moveset, finishing moves, backstory, and level of difficulty. To lay one crucial ground rule, a boss to me is the final opponent you encounter exclusively in the arcade ladder after having to overcome impossible AI, endurance rounds, and your own sanity. Be sure to drop your rankings in the comments section, and without any further ado, let's rank every final boss in Mortal Kombat history.
Fight!
Your soul will be mine.
The soul-stealing, shape-shifting, wheeling-dealing sorcerer Shang Tsung leads us off, and rightfully so. This character is the OG final boss from the original Mortal Kombat game. Before getting into the story, an interesting tidbit I wanted to mention is that Shang Tsung was famously given his morphing ability because of arcade limitations. The game did not have sufficient memory to include another character beyond the base roster, and thus, Shang Tsung's morphing ability came to life. Little did we know this would become perhaps the most important aspect of his character throughout history. The OG Mortal Kombat game in 1992 welcomed Shang Tsung to the series as its first primary antagonist. Although his origin is somewhat shrouded in mystery, Shang Tsung is a sorcerer, possessing the ability to steal souls of fallen warriors. He became Mortal Kombat champion eons ago, and held the title until the Great Kung Lao defeated him. After this defeat, Shang Tsung returned to Outworld to train 4-armed Shao Kahn warrior Goro, before returning to Earthrealm as a much older version of himself, seeking vengeance against the Great Kung Lao. His plan succeeded, as Goro defeated and eliminated this warrior to become the Grand Champion of Mortal Kombat. Under the order of Outworld Emperor Shao Kahn, who we'll get to later, Shang Tsung sought to continuously allow Goro to win Mortal Kombat to unbalance the Furies, a mystical force that separates each realm from one another. On the brink of his 10th consecutive victory, an Earthrealm fighter named Liu Kang defeated Goro and Shang Tsung to thwart the Emperor's plan and maintain peace between the realms. Following his failure to earn a 10th consecutive Mortal Kombat tournament victory, Shang Tsung returned to Outworld and appealed to Shao Kahn in MK2, vowing not to fail him again, and instead bring Earthrealm to its knees. The Emperor agrees, restoring the sorcerer's youth and allowing him to fight for Outworld once again. In Mortal Kombat 2, Liu Kang defeats Shang Tsung, Kintaro, and the Emperor Shao Kahn to win the tournament. It is later revealed that during the events of MK2, Shang Tsung completes a side quest that has him resurrect Sindel, the former Queen of Edenia, in Earthrealm and corrupt her soul. This would allow Shao Kahn and Outworld to cross the realms freely and without boundaries, which set up the events of MK3. In Mortal Kombat 3, Shao Kahn has invaded Earthrealm, but supremacy would not be easy. While hunting human lives and souls, Shang Tsung's arch-enemy, Liu Kang, faces and defeats him once again, putting Shang down 3-0 in the series. The sorcerer returns to Outworld following the Emperor's 2nd consecutive defeat at the hands of Liu Kang, who then imprisons and tortures Shang Tsung for his failure. Shang Tsung was absent from MK4 and Gold before returning in Deadly Alliance as one half of the titular Deadly Alliance. Shang Tsung offered to form some sort of Deadly Alliance with Quan Chi in an effort to resurrect the lost army of the Dragon King Onaga. This marked a turning point for Shang Tsung, who killed Liu Kang and supposedly Shao Kahn, although that was apparently a clone. Not being able to trust a stand-up guy like Quan Chi, Shang Tsung formed a side alliance with Oni, Draman, and Moloch, who had their own issues with Quan Chi. The Deadly Alliance formed more partnerships with the likes of Kano, Mavado, and even Li Mei, who Shang Tsung betrayed. Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance ends with most Earthrealmers dead and their souls claimed. In Mortal Kombat Deception, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi betray each other after defeating Raiden. All hell breaks loose when the Dragon King, whose army the two hope to claim, returns.
Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld, the Dragon King. The prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had indeed returned to Outworld to reclaim his army and impose his dominance.
An unlikely trio of Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Raiden forms, hoping to stop or at least slow Onaga, but their efforts are futile.
Sworn enemies join forces to combat a greater threat.
After Raiden hits Onaga with a powerful blast, Shang Tsung perishes, freeing the souls he held captive.
There was only one chance left.
His own soul returns to Shao Kahn's control. Now a prisoner of the Outworld Emperor, Shang Tsung is assigned to take control of Edenia back from Melina. In Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Shang Tsung learns of a power buried deep beneath a pyramid that could free him of Shao Kahn's control. He enlists the help of Shao Kahn, Onaga, and Quan Chi to prevent anyone from finding it. Once the pyramid emerges, as seen in the Mortal Kombat Armageddon intro, he puts forth a strong effort, but zombie Liu Kang ensures that the sorcerer does not acquire the power for himself, resulting in his death.
At last, it has come to this final battle.
Mortal Kombat's 2011 reboot resets the timeline, but ensures Shang Tsung is back in the mix. His bio tells the story of a treacherous sorcerer who has managed to rig the tournament in Outworld's favor. He lives to serve Outworld Emperor Shao Kahn, who hopes to win a 10th consecutive Mortal Kombat tournament and take control of the realms. Shang Tsung once again hosts the first tournament scene in the game, which is ultimately won by Shaolin monk Liu Kang, who defeats Goro and the sorcerer to put himself up 4-1 in the series.
Shang Tsung, only one fight remains. Face me in Mortal Kombat.
So be it.
Say it.
I concede.
Well done, my friend.
He has saved Earthrealm.
Like in MK2, Shang Tsung agrees to create a single tournament that, if won, would give Outworld control of the realms.
My lord, all is not lost.
Curse the Elder Gods in their tournament. I should have taken Earthrealm by force, but I am bound by their rules. Rules that cannot be broken.
My lord!
Kill him.
But what if the rules were changed?
Kitana. Continue.
Here to congratulate us on our victory, sorcerer.
What? Shang Tsung?
You have been revitalized, I see. I didn't realize your master was in the habit of rewarding failure.
The Emperor has an offer, Raiden. A new tournament.
I see no reason to participate in any plan of yours.
The Emperor proposes a single tournament to replace the current system of 10. It will be held in Outworld. If Earthrealm does not win, Outworld will absorb it. But if Earthrealm wins, Shao Kahn will abandon his claim to it forever.
Give your Emperor my regards.
Shang Tsung encounters Raiden and Sonya Blade, capturing the latter and forcing Raiden's hand to agree to the new tournament format, which is kind of similar to the MK 1995 movie.
Shang Tsung has made it clear that Earthrealm will be under constant threat, unless I agree to a new tournament. Hear me, Elder Gods. I accept the terms proposed by Shao Kahn. We go to Outworld.
The sorcerer later is seen working with Kano, but loses a fight to Smoke, and then another to Katana after she discovers the Flesh Pits, which contain grotesque science experiments and Flesh Pits Melina.
She looks like me. Huh? Sister.
That is no way to treat your sibling.
Despicable swine. Do you think my father will stand for these abominations you have created here?
I am merely perfecting you, princess. As difficult as that might be.
Silence! I will drag you before Shao Kahn by your pointed beard. Get up. You will stand before my father and confess your deeds.
After Shao Kahn's supposed death during the events of the second tournament, Shang Tsung argues that he himself is a suitable replacement to the Emperor.
Khan is finished.
Melina is his heir. She should rule.
Melina? She exists only because of my sorcery.
Shao Kahn returns, and after being failed by Shang Tsung numerous times, the sorcerer is last seen being drained of his souls by Shao Kahn to allow the newly resurrected Sindel to take control of the situation.
We'll go to Earthrealm to finish Motaro's work.
Yes. Shang Tsung,
Yes, Emperor.
the Empress requires something of you.
Shang Tsung is almost entirely absent from Mortal Kombat X, but returns in MK11 as a DLC fighter and a main character in the Aftermath storyline.
I will torment you for eternity.
Do your worst, Shang Tsung.
And now a taste of things to come.
Alongside Fujin and Nightwolf, Shang Tsung stops Liu Kang from using the Hourglass without the Crown of Souls.
In defeating Kronika, you destroyed her crown. Without it, you can't restart history. The Hourglass will shatter. All realms will be lost.
Fujin, is this true?
Kronika's every action was taken to ensure her crown's preparation. She would not dare to restart history without it.
Shang Tsung explains that Kronika used him to capture souls and transfer them to the crown. Once that task was complete, she imprisoned him in the void alongside Fujin and Nightwolf. Liu Kang then sends the three back in time to retrieve the crown, but Shang Tsung manipulates the situation to ensure no one can prevent him from acquiring the crown.
With the crown and Hourglass under our control, we can restart history safely.
Why are we listening to this snake?
Shang Tsung's true intentions come to the surface in the final chapter after arriving at Kronika's keep.
Thank you. Your lies are revealed, sorcerer.
Shang Tsung? Your endgame, hasn't it? From the moment you were trapped in the void.
Kronika was wise to banish me. With this crown, I am her equal.
The sorcerer unsurprisingly betrays his temporary allies, including Nightwolf, Fujin, Raiden, Shao Kahn, and Sindel before battling Kronika. Once everyone is defeated, Shang Tsung attempts to restart history, but the fire god Liu Kang was prepared for this inevitability.
Liu Kang, I thought your duties required you stayed behind.
A lie. Something you know well.
I see now. The Hourglass showed that only I could wield the crown against Kronika successfully. You let me win.
There are two possible outcomes in the Aftermath storyline. Either Shang Tsung triumphs, eliminates Liu Kang, and becomes a Titan, or Liu Kang wins and wipes Shang Tsung from history.
Kronika said much the same, Shang Tsung. You will share her fate.
Following another timeline reset, Shang Tsung returns in Mortal Kombat 1 as a DLC character. He is also the game's primary antagonist, bringing his storyline full circle from the first game. Shang Tsung meets a character named Damashi, who to the audience is Kronika, and she advises him to follow her commands to become a powerful sorcerer.
I am your deliverer, Shang Tsung. Join me, and I will put the realms at your feet.
He agrees, working his way through the Edenian royalty with promises of curing Melina's Tarkat disease.
What's happened here, sorcerer?
These men were sent to disrupt your sister's treatment and scandalize Outworld by revealing her illness.
What? That's totally fake news! Princess, we were...
He manipulates those around him, including Sindel, Bihan, and others, but ultimately, he meets the real Damashi, who was the Titan Shang Tsung teased at the end of MK11 Aftermath.
Liu Kang, meet Damashi.
Damashi? You are the victim of deception, sorcerer.
You're not Damashi. You're me. More correctly, you are me. A poor facsimile, anyway. Made lesser by Liu Kang's meddling.
What's happening here? Who is he?
This Shang Tsung is whom I battled for the Hourglass. I thought him dead.
As I did you, Liu Kang. It turns out our battle released mammoth energies which ripped apart time's fabric. The fight had two conclusions. In one, I was the victor. In the other, it was you. It was eons before I discovered this. Once I did, I knew the path forward.
I took this form and infiltrated your timeline. I elevated these wretches, giving them great power. Together, they sowed discord among the realms and assembled for me the Dragon Army.
The MK1 Shang Tsung aids Earthrealm in eliminating this threat to all timelines, and this culminates in a battle on the Pyramid of Argus, where the timelines clash and Titan Shang Tsung and Quan Chi are defeated.
It appears our interests align. For now.
Know that I trust neither of you. I will finish you both at the first hint of treachery.
The MK1 Shang Tsung is last seen discovering his iconic island and formulating a plan to make himself more powerful. Any character who appeared in the original Mortal Kombat game instantly has an iconic moveset, and Shang Tsung is no different. His morphing ability stands out, but those damn skulls were just pain personified. In later entries, when he no longer had to contend with tech limitations, he had various other flaming skull-based moves and a proper soul steal. Shang's morphing ability was outstanding in MK11, where he'd turn into Ermac, Reptile, and Smoke and use their moves. His Fatal Blow also featured fan-favorite classic ninjas Sub-Zero, Scorpion, and Noob Saibot. His finishers are equally iconic, with the classic Soul Steal, inner ear, both Kentaro morph fatalities.
Fatality.
And my personal favorite, Bang Bang.
Shang Tsung wins. Flawless victory. Fatality.
Shang Tsung's design is almost flawless in my opinion, whether you're talking about the old or young version. Although the older version feels more like a traditional boss character, a young, spry sorcerer feels equally menacing in his own right. Out of his many appearances, I'd have to say any that use Kari Hiroyuki Tagawa's likeness rank atop the list. This actor helped revolutionize Shang Tsung and made him synonymous with the character, especially in the '95 film, and that translates well to the games.
Your brother's soul is mine.
I recently encountered Shang Tsung in the original game and had quite a bit of trouble. His ability to morph into all characters is annoying, especially when he chooses Goro, who you just spent hours trying to defeat. However, nothing was more infuriating than the triple flaming skull attack. That thing drains your life so fast, and before you know it, the game over screen is staring you down. I didn't find Shang Tsung particularly difficult in Deadly Alliance or MK1, so I won't count this against him. Shang Tsung is yet another character the Mortal Kombat series nailed perfectly. His design and moveset is outstanding, but there's a certain level of intimidation that vanishes at various points throughout the series. Seeing him lose so much and become almost a groveling fool is pretty lame, considering we all know his true power. That's more of an indictment on the series as a whole, and it just seems that they have trouble building these really intimidating boss characters and keeping them strong. I really enjoyed his redemption arc in Deadly Alliance, and I think the 3D era was peak for Shang Tsung. As a final boss, he's no joke and really set the tone for others that would join later down the line. I'm not sure what else to say other than Shang Tsung lands in the S tier, fitting for the sorcerer.
You failed me too often, sorcerer.
Over a millennium, I failed you twice.
That is unacceptable.
Emperor Shao Kahn is next, and I would wager that he is the most iconic villain in Mortal Kombat history. Beginning with his first appearance in MK2, seeing him hanging from atop the arcade ladder instilled a fear I cannot even describe. He does not mess around in any of his boss appearances, but let's start with MK2. Shao Kahn made his debut in Mortal Kombat 2, taking the final boss role from Shang Tsung. Not much was apparent about him from the jump, but details would emerge regarding his background as the series progressed. In the narrow lens of MK2, Shao Kahn is the ruthless emperor of Outworld, who sent Shang Tsung to fulfill the task of winning Mortal Kombat and taking control of Earthrealm. As we know, the sorcerer failed after dominating the Shaolin tournament for 500 years. Following this failure, Shao Kahn worked with Shang Tsung to lure Earthrealm's warriors to Outworld for another more unpredictable tournament. Shao Kahn has a daughter, Kitana, and a science experiment/daughter, Melina, who act as assassins on his behalf alongside another named Jade. Kahn kidnaps Sonya Blade and Kano, explaining their absence from the roster in Mortal Kombat 2. Ultimately, despite this unsanctioned tournament happening on Shao Kahn's home court, Liu Kang defeats him before retreating back to Earthrealm. During the events of MK2, Shang Tsung managed to resurrect and corrupt Shao Kahn's forced ex-wife, Queen Sindel, who also happens to be Kitana's biological mother. Sindel became the key to the third game, as her resurrection in Earthrealm gave Kahn the portal he needed to invade Earthrealm with extermination squads. With Raiden now powerless in Earthrealm, Shao Kahn wreaks havoc, capturing souls and attempting to take the realm by force. However, Liu Kang steps up to the challenge a second time and defeats Kahn again, forcing his return to Outworld. Meanwhile, Kitana became wise to Shao Kahn's role in her life, learning that he killed her biological father King Jared, and forcibly married Sindel. Kitana, Jade, and the no longer corrupted Sindel turn against Kahn, who now has more vengeance in this battle than ever before. Shao Kahn remained quiet following the events of MK3. He sat out MK4 while Shinnok and Quan Chi attempted to take over Earthrealm. The fallen Emperor remained at odds with Edenia, but wouldn't reappear in the series again until Deadly Alliance. This was not a good situation for the former Emperor, as the newly created Deadly Alliance of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi attacked him in his own throne room and presumably killed him. Just one game later, Mortal Kombat Deception revealed that Shao Kahn was in fact still alive. The Deadly Alliance had mistakenly assassinated a clone, and a beaten down Kahn would find the previously injured Goro, restore him back to health, and earn back his trust and Shao Kahn army. Shao Kahn reclaims the Outworld throne in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Onaga's defeat in the previous game provided Kahn the opportunity to strike, which he took. He overthrew Mileena, who was pretending to be Kitana, alongside Shang Tsung and Goro to return to his rightful position. He forms a final boss faction with Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Onaga in hopes of defeating Blaze and capturing his powerful essence. However, as seen in the Armageddon intro, Kahn is carried off by the Dragon King before somehow making his way back to Blaze, defeating him, and becoming the winner of the Battle of Armageddon. Skipping past the non-canonical MK vs DC, where Shao Kahn merged with Darkseid, the Emperor returned in the 2011 Mortal Kombat reboot. MK9 opens with the fallout from the Battle of Armageddon, with Kahn being the most powerful being.
Where are the Elder Gods, Raiden?
He defeats Raiden, who in a last-ditch effort sends a cryptic message back in time during the events of the original game.
My venom spreads. It is the end of all things. Armageddon. He must win.
Shao Kahn's MK9 bio states that millennia ago, he overthrew the Dragon King as the ruler of Outworld. This provides context to his background before his initial appearance in Mortal Kombat 2. He conquered realms before turning his attention to Earthrealm, where the Mortal Kombat tournament prevented him from taking it by force. Instead, he had to win 10 consecutive tournaments to claim Earthrealm as his own. Since MK9 begins with the Mortal Kombat depicted in the first game, Shao Kahn is not seen, but rather lurks and monitors the events. A similar story plays out, where Goro and Shang Tsung fail, and Kahn agrees to restore the latter's youth before making another attempt to take Earthrealm. Shao Kahn later publicly shames his adopted daughter Kitana for not properly impeding Earthrealm warriors from intervening in the events.
Kitana! How is it that Earthrealm ninjas brazenly appear before me when my daughter, Princess of Outworld, was sent to intercept them?
Father,
Begone! Continue.
This leads to her discovering her unwanted science experiment of a sister, Mileena. And upon this discovery, Kitana attempts to turn Shang Tsung in for this treachery, only to learn that Kahn himself orchestrated the Flesh Pit's experiment.
Well done, sorcerer.
You know? You approve? How could you? My own father!
I am your emperor! Your father was a weakling Edenian king. I annihilated him while merging his realm with Outworld, and took his queen as my wife. If only I had not allowed Sindel to convince me of your worth. But now, I have a true daughter!
Raiden was right. You have lied to me my entire life.
Escort her to the tower. I will make an example of them. Return to the Flesh Pits. Bring me my daughter, Mileena.
Toward the end of the events of MK2, Shao Kahn kills Kung Lao, prompting Liu Kang to step in and defeat the Emperor.
Kung Lao! No! I will strip the flesh from your bones!
Witless boy. Do you know who I am?
The murderer of my friend.
I am Shao Kahn, conqueror of worlds. You will taste no victory.
You will taste your own blood on your feet! For Kung Lao, the Shaolin, and Earthrealm!
Although it's unclear whether Shao Kahn is gone for good, despite Liu Kang literally punching a hole in his chest, he returns later and Quan Chi advises an outright invasion of Earthrealm.
You breathe because I restrain mine.
Emperor!
You live! I am not so easily killed. Quan Chi accelerated my recovery.
Emperor!
Not one word. Because of you, Outworld can no longer merge with Earthrealm.
There may yet be an alternative, Emperor. Invasion.
Invasion?
Do you mock me? Sindel's ward prevents me from setting foot in Earthrealm.
Have you considered why your wife and Empress chose to betray you in this particular fashion?
Of course. But even after millennia, her motives are a mystery.
She realized that the safeguards afforded by the Elder Gods through Mortal Kombat are but fiction. She sacrificed herself to give protection the Elder Gods could not, so Earthrealm could not suffer as had Edenia.
Indeed.
I have mastered the spells necessary for her resurrection. Her ward will be nullified, and with it, the barrier that prevents your entry into Earthrealm.
The events of MK3 play out, with Sindel returning as a corrupted version of herself and allowing passage into Earthrealm.
Sindel.
Quan Chi?
Shao Kahn looks forward to your return.
However, this time around, Kahn eliminates Shang Tsung, and it is later revealed that Raiden's initial vision of "he must win" refers to Shao Kahn and not Liu Kang.
Shao Kahn's victory is nearly complete. Soon he will arrive in Earthrealm.
No! The Elder Gods cannot allow it!
The Elder Gods are toothless. Your world is near destruction, yet they do not act.
They must! Only through Mortal Kombat may Shao Kahn merge the realms, lest he face the judgment of the Elder Gods. Lest he face the judgment of the Elder Gods. He must win.
If the Emperor successfully merges the realms, this will be a violation of the sacred rules, and the Elder Gods will have to act. Liu Kang attempts to intervene, but Raiden ends him, and having surrendered to Shao Kahn, the Elder Gods give Raiden his powers back.
Yes. You have won.
Now, Raiden, your world ends.
Our will, Shao Kahn. You merge realms without victory in Mortal Kombat. Our penalty is clear.
An anemic effort from ineffectual deities. Today, I become the Elder God.
He fights Shao Kahn and wins, which spells the end of the Emperor, but only temporarily. Although absent from MKX, Shao Kahn briefly appears in the prequel comics. He is seen conquering the Oshtek and Kai-Tin alongside Goro in a flashback. Kotal Kahn, who previously served as one of Shao Kahn's generals, replaced Shao as the Emperor of Outworld, following a different path as the ruler. Shao Kahn's other former general, known as Reiko, also appears, hoping to become the Emperor himself. He forms an alliance with Mileena to dethrone Kotal Kahn and regain control of Outworld. Kahn's iconic hammer also appeared in the comics, wielded by Kotal Kahn's father before ending up with Mileena. Through a dialogue exchange in MKX, we learn that Shao Kahn's soul lives within Ermac.
I sense Shao Kahn in you.
Our creator is part of us.
I will remove him.
You burn with guilt, don't you?
For the pain I have caused others, yes.
Compassion is for fools. Fight!
Although Shao Kahn was sidelined in MKX, he did return in MK11. This time as a fully playable character. The former Emperor plays a sizable role in the main storyline and the Aftermath DLC. Beginning with the main story, Kronika's time manipulation marks the long-awaited return of Shao Kahn. He emerges in Outworld alongside Scarlet, Erron Black, Kano, and Baraka. Unclear of what's unfolded after his death, Shao Kahn discovers that former Outworld General Kotal is the new Khan of Outworld, sparking an intense battle between the two.
Raiden? Shao Kahn? General Kotal?
Kotal Kahn.
Kahn? Pathetic fool! You pretend to my throne!
Oshtek custom requires all refugees be offered assistance. I offer it to you, Shao Kahn.
I am no refugee! I am Khan of Outworld! Vacate my throne, or I'll soak these sands with your blood!
Outworld rejected your pointless wars.
Empires must expand or die.
You are Khan no more.
The former Emperor proves inferior to his successor and learns that his daughter Mileena is also dead, thanks to D'Vorah.
Mileena? This is true. You will die!
Kronika intervenes, offering Shao Kahn an even greater empire in the new era that she is creating.
D'Vorah is under my protection, Shao Kahn. As are you. I am Kronika.
The legends are true?
Raiden will not exist to thwart you.
You can wipe Raiden from history?
It is an immense task, requiring great power and effort. My hourglass requires protection while I work. Will your Outworld armies defend it?
They shall.
He accepts this offer, gathers his Outworld army, and heads to a Tarkatan camp to prepare for what's ahead. While there, he thwarts an infiltration attempt by Jade and Kotal Kahn, finding them shortly after a battle between the two. Both are imprisoned, with Jade in Scarlet's custody and Kotal being prepared for a public execution.
You've suffered too long at this pretender's hands, but I've returned, and I will save you from his madness.
The united Shao Kahn and Tarkatan forces, led by Shiva, Baraka, and Kitana, who was responsible for this union, prevented this execution. Kotal and Shao resumed their battle from earlier, with Shao crippling the acting emperor and rendering him defenseless. This leads to a battle between Shao Kahn and his adopted daughter, with the latter blinding him and declaring victory before usurping her father as the new Khan of Outworld.
I'll not inherit your cruelty.
In the Aftermath storyline, Shao Kahn is being held captive by the Shokan until Sindel returns and frees him.
Wife, it's you.
Hush, husband. I'm here. The Soul Chamber will heal your wounds.
She heals his injured eyes in the Soul Chamber, and the two proceed to go on a rampage.
Wife, I have missed you. If Quan Chi were here, I'd hoist him by the ankles and split him through.
They defeat Cassie Cage, Sonya Blade, Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, Liu Kang, and Kitana, racking up quite the body count. Then, the despicable duo arrive at Kronika's keep and align themselves with Shang Tsung. After breaching Kronika's home base, the three dispatch her revenant bodyguards. However, Shang Tsung's newly acquired crown inflates his ego and his powers, leading to Shao Kahn and Sindel's defeat. The two lose their souls, and that's a wrap for Shao and MK11. Shao Kahn returned for the most recent timeline reset in Mortal Kombat 1, but rather than being the Emperor, he is now General Shao. It's a new look and backstory for Shao, whose bio states that he was born into a military family and expected to become a soldier. Despite being a sickly child, Shao's father put him through an extreme program to build his strength and endurance. He became the perfect warrior, serving Outworld Empress Sindel, but is eager to take the throne himself. MK1 offers a different perspective on Shao. Although he's still an intimidating force, he swaps out his hammer for an axe and is now ranked lower in the new era. He still shows disdain toward Earthrealm, disrespecting Liu Kang and Raiden, so I guess he really hasn't changed.
Is it me, or is Earthrealm's champion scrawnier than usual?
Would you care to test his strength? Raiden will
prove himself soon enough.
Have you still not told most Earthrealmers that Outworld exists?
It is safer that way, General.
I suppose so. Your people's frail minds couldn't handle the truth. We will destroy your champion, Liu Kang. He will taste no victory.
Shao aligns himself with Shang Tsung and Quan Chi while attempting to corrupt Sindel's mind against Earthrealm. He believes he would make a better emperor, and following some timeline manipulation, General Shao uses Shinnok's amulet to imprison Kitana, Geras, Tanya, and Melina.
Conspire against Outworld.
Not against Outworld, but against your misguided rule. You'll both bend a knee to Outworld's new Emperor.
Put down the amulet. Its evil is beyond your control.
Do you think I do battle not trained with my weapons? I am more than prepared.
However, Shao loses the ensuing battle and ends up imprisoned himself.
Sickly boy you were. How your father fought to push you past your infirmities. Now you repay him by spitting on his ideals? Your revolt shreds every value he held dear. You are relieved, General.
Various iterations of Shao appear during the Battle of Armageddon, but the new General Shao ends up in captivity alongside the Deadly Alliance and Reiko before escaping. What I said previously about Shang Tsung goes double for Shao Kahn. The early game set such an insane precedent that the Emperor is to be feared.
I am to be feared!
His shoulder charge, arrow throw, various hammer attacks, and even just his basic kicks and punches are the things of nightmares. These attacks hit so hard and make you rethink your decision to even try and beat him. On top of all of that, he hurls insults at you as the ultimate mind game, although you could sometimes capitalize on those moments. His fatalities are surprisingly pretty good. The early ones made great use of his hammer, and I like the MK9 one where he just rips the opponent in half.
Shao Kahn wins. Fatality!
It's not unique or anything, but I think the brutality of it plays into his character. The two in MK1 are gruesome, particularly the Whirlwind finisher, which is a fun addition to his arsenal.
Fatality. General Shao wins.
Shao Kahn is arguably the most intimidating character in MK history, and I'm not joking. His first appearance in MK2 set the stage for a mysterious boss character that did not play around. He knew his power, and it showed. Purely from an appearance perspective, I don't think he's really ever looked bad. Some MK fans aren't fond of the General Shao look, but it's okay to me, although it's not as good as his original war costume and helmet look. But anyone who sees their character's picture scroll up to Shao Kahn in any of the games where he's a boss character, you know that it's going to be a tough fight. Speaking of tough fights, I don't think any final boss character is more difficult than Shao Kahn. Whether we're talking MK2, MK3, or MK9, Shao Kahn can destroy you with minimal effort. I still remember playing MK9 for the first time back in 2011 and contemplating whether you could actually defeat him. I thought this was a nice callback to the impossible arcade AI of the 90s. Those games don't mess around either. I previously believed that Motaro was more difficult than Shao in UMK3, but after fighting him recently, I was dead wrong. This is a final boss that makes you earn the win, and you feel a sense of relief if and when you finally get there. I have to mention again that he mocks you the entire time, which adds another layer of frustration to an already challenging fight.
You will die, mortal. Feel the wrath of Shao Kahn. You will never win. You will never win. Don't make me laugh. No.
To me, Shao Kahn embodies a video game final boss through and through. There's no cheat code that will save you, and you have to endure everything he throws at you and just hope that it's enough. From a story perspective, he mostly looks strong save for a few moments. I mean, sure, Liu Kang has his number, but I'm okay with that. Mortal Kombat 11, and the Aftermath story in particular, did a good job at redeeming Shao Kahn's shortcomings from earlier in the series. He's a character who knows what he wants and takes it by force, making him just an evil SOB. I think I've made a strong enough case for the Emperor, and believe he deserves a spot ahead of Shang Tsung in the S tier.
Why did you help me?
You are still immortal. That means you can escape the Netherrealm.
There won't be anywhere to go if I don't get the amulet back.
Take me with you. I've waited an eternity to escape.
You don't understand. I can't leave without you.
The fallen Elder God, better known as Shinnok, is next. He technically debuted in the maligned Mortal Kombat mythology Sub-Zero, but his impact was felt even before then. Initially an Elder God, Shinnok wanted to take Earthrealm for himself, but couldn't without the other Elder Gods' knowledge. This led to the creation of Shinnok's infamous amulet, an artifact that remained consistent and important throughout the series. This amulet allowed passage through the realms, something Shinnok would need if he wanted to take Earthrealm. Raiden defeated Shinnok early in the Mortal Kombat lore, resulting in him becoming the fallen Elder God, as I mentioned earlier. Following his defeat, Shinnok was banished to the deepest level of the Netherrealm and subjected to torture by Lucifer. Yes, the devil is canon in Mortal Kombat. Shinnok then encountered sorcerer Quan Chi, who helped him overthrow Lucifer and become the ruler of the Netherrealm. It's at this point Shinnok makes his debut in Sub-Zero's spin-off game, set before the original Mortal Kombat. His goal is to manipulate Sub-Zero into locating his lost amulet.
This map you stole, it shows the way to a temple which predates man's recorded history on Earth. For thousands of years, the Temple of Elements has been hidden in what is now known as the Himalayan Mountains of Nepal. This map is the only evidence of its existence.
Fine. I get to the temple, and then what? What's inside?
A small amulet. Worthless to you, but let's just say it has great sentimental value to me.
The audience is led to believe that Shinnok is in possession of his original amulet at the end of Mythologies, but it's later revealed that Quan Chi created a replica and took the real amulet for himself. Lying in wait, Shinnok built an army and alliances before enacting a plan to breach into Earthrealm. Although not mentioned in Mortal Kombat 3, he secretly worked alongside Shang Tsung to resurrect Edenian Queen Sindel, setting the events of that game in motion. Following Shao Kahn's second consecutive defeat, Shinnok took matters into his own hands, setting the events of MK4 in motion. Shinnok made his final boss and playable debut in Mortal Kombat 4. The fallen Elder God successfully infiltrated Edenia thanks to traitor Tanya. He imprisoned Edenian royalty Sindel and Katana before killing 3 of the 4 elemental gods. However, he ultimately discovers that the amulet in his possession was fake and that Quan Chi had the genuine version.
My existence? Understand, sorcerer. I consume all energies, including the life forces of all that live, but I shall spare you.
If it weren't for me, you would still be a tortured soul, rotting in the pits of the Netherrealm.
You dare question me?
I do more than question you, Shinnok. I challenge you.
Then you shall die. What?
Your powers are useless against me.
How can this be?
I am in possession of your once sacred amulet. Years ago, I delivered to you an exact duplicate, while I retained the original.
Without the amulet, and with Quan Chi gone thanks to Scorpion, Shinnok falls to Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat 4, and is sent back to the Netherrealm. Shinnok returns in Armageddon and plays a minor role in the game's storyline. The fallen Elder God is familiar with the main character, Taven, who is under the impression that Shinnok is still an Elder God. Shinnok continues deceiving him in their encounter. He has Taven defeat an army of apparitions before Shinnok is revealed to have been aiding Taven's brother, Dagon, all along.
Former Elder God, but I do appreciate your loyalty and respect. You may rise. Your brother. Yes, he has been to the Netherrealm, but he is not here any longer. I sense that he has gone back to Earthrealm.
What? Earthrealm?
I will send you to him, but you must leave now.
Thank you, Lord Shinnok.
He is strong, quite strong, and a skilled warrior.
I told you he was a problem.
He passed all my tests, destroyed my apparitions with ease, more quickly than you did. Perhaps I am aiding the wrong brother.
What? You swore you would help me.
Fool! Your brother has been effectively delayed. His means of teleportation has been eliminated.
Forgive me, Lord Shinnok. I didn't realize. It's just that your aid is vital to my success.
Our success. There is more to this quest than you know. All things have led to this moment. The prize is not merely some gift, as your mother and father would have had you believe. It will determine the fate of many mortals, a fact I will use to my advantage.
I don't understand.
I have informed other warriors of the prize to hasten their participation. They will think, as you did, that godlike power will be bestowed upon the victor. It is a deception. They are marching to their doom. You shall be the victor, and the catalyst to my ascension.
Shinnok presumably dies during the Battle of Armageddon after revealing he informed the masses of the power hidden in the Pyramid of Argus. But this plot point remains a topic of debate based on this interaction.
You did not kill me at the pyramid. This time, I will.
Shinnok is mostly absent from the 2011 Mortal Kombat reboot, apart from the post-credits sequence. After Shao Kahn's defeat, Shinnok emerges and is responsible for the events that occurred. He had Quan Chi manipulate Shao Kahn into invading Earthrealm, which led to the merging of the two realms. With plans to become a free man soon, Shinnok plots to wreak havoc on Earthrealm and Outworld.
Plan worked to perfection, Lord Shinnok.
Shao Kahn was blinded by rage. How easily he was convinced that the Elder Gods would ignore his merging the realms.
Yet the Thunder God still lives.
No matter. Neither Earthrealm nor Outworld can now withstand the Netherrealm's onslaught. It is time. Soon I will be free. Earthrealm and Outworld will be ours.
After a brief appearance in the MKX comics, Shinnok returns to Mortal Kombat X to fulfill his promise. He orchestrates an onslaught from the Netherrealm alongside the Brotherhood of Shadow, defeating Raiden and Fujin before attempting to imprison them in the amulet.
You see it now, Raiden. Your legacy. You poisoned their hearts with hope.
And what do you offer? The same as you did millennia ago, when you betrayed your fellow Elder Gods and attacked Earthrealm. We stopped you then, imprisoned you in the Netherrealm. We will do so again.
Remove the shadow from the light. The shadow grows. The legacy of life is death, Raiden. My followers accept this and live on. They fight for me.
Will not touch the Jinsei.
Oh, I will. And all of Earthrealm will learn the truth of death.
Ultimately, Johnny Cage intervenes and flips the script on Shinnok, allowing Raiden to trap him in the amulet.
Oh, sorry, ma'am. Didn't see you there. You really are a fallen Elder God.
Johnny Cage, the amulet! Now!
Shinnok is later freed thanks to Quan Chi and D'Vorah. He captures Johnny Cage and defeats Bo' Rai Cho on his quest to acquire the power of the Jinsei.
Blood for blood. Your debt is paid.
Free us, now!
How small they are.
As a side note, the power of the Jinsei is a powerful mystical energy source that sustains the realm's natural balance and vitality. The Jinsei's power is crucial for maintaining the health and stability of Earthrealm, and it is guarded by the Elder Gods and their chosen protectors. Shinnok successfully corrupts the Jinsei chamber despite Raiden's best efforts. This produces grim results for Earthrealm, as Shinnok is now more powerful than ever.
Johnny Cage. Fitting that I exterminate his entire line.
You want him, you're gonna go through me.
Yes, that's better. Watch, Miss Cage, as I rend your father's flesh. This is what awaits those who defy me. Excruciating, exquisite death.
You son of a bitch! Holy shit, it does run in the family.
Your father's power will not save you. You cannot hope to survive.
However, before fully corrupting the chamber, Cassie Cage defeats Shinnok just like her father. Under the influence of Shinnok's corruption, Raiden becomes Dark Raiden and beheads the fallen Elder God.
There are fates worse than death.
Since he's an Elder God, Shinnok cannot be killed, meaning his severed head is doomed to a torturous existence. Although not playable, Shinnok's head returns in Mortal Kombat 11. This game reveals that Kronika is Shinnok's mother.
Did Shinnok know what you know?
He embraced our mother's design.
Willingly, or was he compelled?
And stemming from the previous game, Dark Raiden tortures Shinnok with his newfound Jinsei power, before banishing him to the Netherrealm as a warning to all who dare to invade.
I will deliver you to Liu Kang and your Netherrealm minions.
This was not your destiny, Shinnok. Once again, the Thunder God has upset the balance of history. But know this. The arc of the universe bends to my will. It is only a matter of time.
His head remains intact the last time we see him in MK11, and although he does not appear in MK1, his amulet does. Rather than having his own special moveset, Shinnok can instead mimic almost every character on the MK4 roster.
Shinnok. Jarek. Scorpion. Get over here! Get over here! Superb. Liu Kang.
He also has a bladed staff as his weapon, but otherwise, he's pretty bland in his debut. MK Armageddon didn't add much, but MKX significantly improved his offering. Although his moves aren't anything incredibly unique, it honestly feels like a mixture of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, but the bone attacks are an interesting addition. Shinnok's MK4 and MKX fatalities are pretty lame in my opinion. They rely too heavily on his skeletal hand, so overall, I'm not impressed. From a design standpoint, Shinnok had potential, but his look in Mythologies and MK4 are just so bad. He's not very intimidating, certainly not to the level of Shang Tsung or Shao Kahn for that matter. MKX improved his design, especially with Corrupted Shinnok, which is a fun throwback to his demon form in MK Mythologies. Unfortunately, although I've tried my best, I've just never been a fan of Shinnok. As far as difficulty is concerned, Shinnok was surprisingly easy in MK4. It's not something I expected, considering Goro in the fight before gave me some trouble. I won't put the blame solely on Shinnok for this, as I think the previous games set such an unrealistic precedence on how difficult a boss character could be. Although I think it's fair to say that he is one of the most underwhelming boss characters of the Midway era. MKX redeemed the character quite a bit, especially with Corrupted Shinnok, who was insanely difficult. This version would not only destroy you, but he'll also style on you with a fatality, kind of a throwback to the old days. Even considering the MKX boost, I'm still underwhelmed by Shinnok. As a whole, I think Shinnok had serious potential. His backstory as a fallen elder god is different and intriguing, rather than a sorcerer lackey or an emperor of Outworld. It was a nice change of pace, but Shinnok's look in Mythologies and MK4 paired with his moveset just left a bad taste. I know it's popular to hate Shinnok, but I wouldn't say I feel that level of hatred toward this character. Seeing him at the end of MK9 and in MKX was a nice redemption, but getting bodied by Johnny Cage and Cassie Cage is a horrendous look. I don't know. It's weird because Liu Kang destroyed Shang, Shao Kahn, and Shinnok, but that's the de facto Mortal Kombat hero. He literally became a decapitated head before disappearing from the franchise, which is not only a bad look, but it's possible that we never see him again. I'm rambling here, but to summarize, I think Shinnok missed the mark as a final boss. But since Corrupted Shinnok saved the day and elevated the character, I'm putting the Fallen Elder God in the B tier.
The amulet! I have Shinnok's amulet!
Whose amulet?
He is my deity, ruler of the Netherrealm, and soon destroyer of your Earthrealm.
What are you talking about?
Everyone's favorite Netherrealm sorcerer, Quan Chi, follows his good friend Shinnok. While not traditionally considered one of the prototypical final boss characters, Quan Chi is technically one half of the final boss pair in Deadly Alliance. As a result, I feel that including him on this list is definitely warranted. The Master Manipulator debuted in the Sub-Zero spin-off alongside Shinnok, but with a much larger role. As mentioned in the Shinnok segment, he and Quan Chi have been linked for some time. The latter even played a part in Shinnok taking the Netherrealm throne and resurrecting Sindel. In Mythologies, Quan Chi manipulates Bi-Han, the original Sub-Zero, to locate and retrieve Shinnok's amulet. He agrees under the pretense of Quan Chi eliminating the Shirai Ryu, a Lin Kuei rival clan which Scorpion is part of. Quan Chi ultimately acquires the amulet thanks to Sub-Zero, but rather than returning the original to Shinnok, he creates and gives him a useless duplicate. Sub-Zero then defeats Quan Chi in Mythologies, setting up the events of MK4. Quan Chi's MK4 bio describes him as a free-roaming sorcerer powerful in the black arts. He is able to free Shinnok from the Netherrealm, and in return, he'd become the arch-sorcerer of the expanded Netherrealm. After already convincing Scorpion that Bi-Han orchestrated the annihilation of the Shirai Ryu, it's revealed in MK4 that Quan Chi manipulated Scorpion into also believing that Kuai Liang held some responsibility. He eventually unveils the truth to Scorpion, who takes him back to the Netherrealm with bad intentions.
The death of my family and clan, now my soul can finally rest.
Your soul will never rest, Scorpion. The
Lin Kuei may have been responsible for your murder, but your family's true killer still remains free.
If you are not the murderer, then who is?
I am the one you seek. To defeat my nemesis Sub-Zero, I needed the power of a Spectre. You've done my bidding well, Scorpion, but now I must return you to the Netherrealm.
In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Scorpion tortures Quan Chi before he's rescued by Draman and Moloch. Upon finding a portal out of the Netherrealm, Quan Chi escapes and leaves his new saviors behind. He happens upon the tomb of the Dragon King, learning that Onaga's dragon army was invincible and that restoring them could further strengthen Shinnok's amulet. After encountering Shang Tsung, they create the infamous Deadly Alliance, with hopes of using a Soul NATO to revive the dragon army. With this plan in mind, the two proceed to eliminate Liu Kang and Shao Kahn, whom they perceive as threats. The Deadly Alliance scheme their way to the top, forming alliances to gain an edge on Earthrealm. However, the two sorcerers grow suspicious of one another, and after wiping out nearly every Earthrealm warrior, Raiden is the only hero left standing, and upon defeating him, Quan Chi and Shang Tsung betray each other. Mortal Kombat Deception opens with this battle, so we get to see Quan Chi and Shang Tsung defeat Raiden before turning on each other. With Quan Chi standing victorious over his two adversaries, Onaga returns and the trio of Quan Chi, Shang Tsung, and Raiden attack him, but fail. Although he supposedly survived and escaped to another realm, Quan Chi is not playable in Deception. Like every Mortal Kombat character in the Midway era, Quan Chi returned in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. He forms the big bad alliance mentioned earlier with Shang Tsung, Shao Kahn, and Onaga. Like the others, Quan Chi hoped to acquire Blaze's essence, which would make him the strongest being in the universe, but he fails and dies. Quan Chi returns in the 2011 Mortal Kombat reboot, once again depicted as a master manipulator. This time around, he's a secret and unlockable character whose bio explains that this arch-sorcerer is a vile being from the Netherrealm. Scorpion is depicted as his personal assassin, and Quan Chi is building an army of specters, although the reason behind this and his presence in the tournament remains unknown. He controls Scorpion earlier in the game, who eventually kills Sub-Zero before Quan Chi resurrects him as Noob Saibot.
This is where I was reborn. This is where you will pay. Avenged my family and clan.
This is your retribution? Scorpion, kill him. Your clan, your family.
That is not me. You are not worthy of the name Sub-Zero. Who are you to judge? I wore those colors before you. Bi-Han? Yes, Kuai Liang. It is I. Quan Chi restored me.
He remains somewhat of a minor character before healing Shao Kahn's fatal wounds at the hands of Liu Kang, and advises the Emperor to invade Earthrealm outright. Although he's not at the forefront in the story, Quan Chi is absolutely imperative to everything that plays out in MK9. Later, Raiden enters the Netherrealm to seek Quan Chi's help in his battle against Shao Kahn, even offering him Earthrealm souls in exchange. However, Quan Chi reveals that he has already resurrected their souls into revenant beings, basically undead and obedient versions of their former selves. The end of MK9 depicts Quan Chi conversing with Shinnok. Both Netherrealmers work together to influence Shao Kahn's invasion, which, once unsuccessful, would lead to an invasion by the Netherrealm.
Nor his merging the realms.
Yet the Thunder God still lives.
No matter. Neither Earthrealm nor Outworld can now withstand the Netherrealm's onslaught. It is time. Soon I will be free. Earthrealm and Outworld
The MKX comics reveal more about Quan Chi's backstory, including his role in Scorpion's thirst for vengeance against Sub-Zero and the Lin Kuei. He's responsible for de-cyberizing Kuai Liang and turning him into a revenant. Quan Chi works with Havoc to reacquire Shinnok's amulet and is later responsible for Moloch and Draman's deaths. The comic's final big revelation is that D'Vorah has been secretly working with Quan Chi behind Kotal Khan's back. In MKX, Quan Chi is once again Shinnok's sidekick, working with him to help the Netherrealm consume Earthrealm. With his army of revenants, Quan Chi helped Shinnok enter the Jinsei chamber to drain Earthrealm's life source. When Johnny Cage intervenes and defeats Shinnok, Quan Chi escapes. After the amulet ends up in Melina's possession, D'Vorah steals it and eventually hands it back to Quan Chi, bringing her betrayal of Kotal Khan full circle. Scorpion later learns that Quan Chi orchestrated the destruction of the Shirai Ryu. He then locates the sorcerer and beheads him, but not before he frees Shinnok using the amulet. After his beheading, Quan Chi is mentioned in MK11,
I beheaded Quan Chi,
but doesn't make a return until MK1 as a story and DLC character. In Liu Kang's new timeline, Quan Chi is no longer a sorcerer, but rather an ordinary miner. A character named Damashi appeals to Quan Chi, granting him dark magic, and in this timeline, Quan Chi is responsible for the creation of Ermac. He gets captured at one point, but escapes, and alongside his Deadly Alliance mate Shang Tsung, the two hope to resurrect the Dragon King's army. The benefactor I mentioned earlier, known as Damashi, is later revealed to be Titan Shang Tsung, prompting MK1 Quan Chi to work with Earthrealm and Outworld to eliminate this threat. The sorcerer is last seen freed from prison thanks to Ermac. Beyond his appearance, Quan Chi's moveset might be his most memorable attribute. His use of the Green Skull projectile mixed with his Sky Drop created a foundation his moveset would be built upon. Later entries added the Ground Burst, Trance, and other unique moves in MKX. MK1 serves as almost a complete overhaul of Quan Chi, including some out-of-character tentacle attacks and a really cool block animation. As for his finishers, Quan Chi has arguably one of the best and perhaps the worst fatalities in history. For the best, I'm of course referring to the leg beatdown, which debuted in MK4 and was reimagined in MK9. For the worst, look no further than his neck stretch from Deadly Alliance.
Huh?
Sometimes I feel like I'm the only one who genuinely likes Quan Chi's design. It's hokey and not at all intimidating, but I think his look is solid overall. His best look to me is in MK9, but MKX is a close second. By the way, let me know your thoughts about Quan Chi's design in the comment section down below, because I hear so much negativity thrown at this character.
You're a lot bolder than I imagined.
Considering the level of difficulty, it's unfortunate to say that Quan Chi is in a similar category as Shinnok. It took me just 2 attempts to defeat him in Deadly Alliance, and another 2 to defeat him in MK1. Since he's a cameo in MK1, it's sort of a wash. But even so, Quan Chi was not difficult, which could be just a product of easier AI. I will add that I played the 3D era boss fights and beyond on medium difficulty, so I'd probably have a lot more trouble on higher difficulties, but leaving it default gave me an even playing field. To summarize Quan Chi, I have to say that I'm just not a hater. I understand the hatred for him annihilating the Shirai Ryu and ruining Scorpion's life, but from my perspective, I wonder what else could have happened. Making Quan Chi the reason for this feud allowed Sub-Zero and Scorpion to be good guys in their own storylines, and he also gave us Noob Saibot, and people love him. Apart from that, he really is a footnote otherwise, usually acting as someone's lackey or in a partnership with Shang Tsung. As a character, Quan Chi has excellent moves, finishers, and a cool design. If we're talking about him purely from a character standpoint, he'd probably land in the B tier, but since this is purely a final boss tier list, I'm putting Quan Chi in the C tier.
And that ruler had returned. Onaga, former Emperor of Outworld, the Dragon King.
With 4 down and 4 to go, we move to the Dragon King, Onaga. I've mentioned him a few times, mainly because he's connected in some part to nearly every final boss in MK history. Although he didn't appear in the series until Deception, Onaga's presence in the lore predates even the original Mortal Kombat game. Before Shao Kahn ruled Outworld, Onaga sat atop the throne as its supreme leader. Hoping to achieve immortality, the Dragon King had the last known dragon egg hidden. He desired to use the blood of an infant dragon to grant him immortality, but before that could happen, Shao Kahn, who worked under Onaga, poisoned him and killed him to take the Outworld throne. Rather than appearing at the forefront in the Mortal Kombat storyline, he acted as an elder god and orchestrated Shujinko's quest to unite the Kamidogu. Uniting the Kamidogu would merge the realms, which Onaga hoped to do so he could rule over every realm. Also, remember this background setting in the Mortal Kombat 2 pit stage? This fire character, who we'll cover soon, was assigned to guard the last dragon egg we mentioned earlier. Before Onaga's official in-game debut, the vampirist Natara manipulated Reptile into infiltrating the chamber containing the dragon egg. After locating the egg, it hatched, and Onaga's spirit possessed Reptile, making him a vessel for the Dragon King.
Despite the strong sulfurous stench that filled the chamber, Reptile could smell that Natara and Cyrax had been there recently. There was no sign of them now, except for some scattered glass shards and a residual trace of strong magical energies. His revenge would have to wait. Suddenly, an expectant hush filled the chamber as energy cascaded around what appeared to be a dragon embryo. The tiny dragon stretched, and the egg cracked. A beam of energy ripped out from inside and lanced into Reptile. His world was filled with a roaring power as his squamous body was twisted and transformed. The ancient prophecy had been fulfilled. The Dragon King had returned.
In Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, Quan Chi locates the army of the Dragon King, rumored to be unstoppable due to Onaga's ability to reanimate the dead. He devises a plan with Shang Tsung to raise the army and take control of these undead soldiers. This brings us to Onaga's in-game debut in Mortal Kombat Deception. The opening cinematic depicts a fight between Raiden, Shang Tsung, and Quan Chi. Once Raiden is defeated, the Deadly Alliance betrays one another, and despite Quan Chi's victory, the Dragon King unexpectedly returns from the dead. Onaga survives one final blast by the Thunder God. Realizing that he was manipulated by Onaga, who pretended to be this otherworldly being named Damashi, Shujinko played into Onaga's deceit, uniting the Kamidogu and making him an immense threat. Shujinko uses all the knowledge and fighting techniques he learned on his journey to defeat Onaga, banishing him back to the Netherrealm where Shinnok finds him. This unexpected duo creates their own alliance, where each would help the other return to power. In Mortal Kombat Armageddon, Onaga reluctantly joins a super team that includes Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, Quan Chi, and Shinnok. This final boss faction bands together to defeat Blaze and capture his power. However, during the battle, Onaga exacts vengeance on Shao Kahn for poisoning him all those years ago, and ultimately dies himself. Armageddon marks Onaga's last physical appearance in the Mortal Kombat series, but many references and hints about him exist in MK9, MKX, and MK11. In the most recent timeline reboot, Onaga once again exists as a threatening force from the Outworld. The Dragon King can be seen in Reiko's ending, who attempts to tame Onaga and use him as a weapon to dethrone Mileena. From a special move standpoint, Onaga doesn't have much to offer. His monstrous presence in Deception is more intriguing than his actual attacks, which include Fire Breath, a Fireball, powerful strikes, and throws. He also does not like it when you kick him. As for his finishers, Onaga has absolutely nothing. Apart from pictures and references, we've only seen Onaga twice in the franchise, but I'm impressed. The Dragon King lived up to his reputation when he finally appeared on screen, and I couldn't ask for anything other than for him to appear more often. I'll be honest, I had zero difficulty beating Onaga in Mortal Kombat Deception. It took me 2 tries with Zombie Liu Kang, and perhaps just spamming the bicycle kick was a cheesy way to win. Given this is Onaga's only legitimate boss appearance, it doesn't bode well. I expected more and was just disappointed. Lore-wise, I love Onaga and everything he stands for. He is, by all accounts, the most powerful character in Mortal Kombat history, at least physically. He takes up half the screen in Deception, and seeing him in that opening cinematic was iconic. However, and I hate to say it, he is too easy for a final boss. Since Shao Kahn, I think Mortal Kombat made these fights too easy. But it is worth noting that there are difficulty settings, like I mentioned earlier. I could have certainly fought Onaga and these other characters on the highest difficulty, but I'm playing the game how it's intended. The concept behind Onaga is incredible though, and he is more intimidating than Quan Chi and Shinnok could ever be. I can't, with good conscience, put the Dragon King in the S tier, but I think the A tier is a perfectly fine spot for him.
I was about to continue my eternal quest, but I cannot remember what it is. A spell has taken my memory. Please find me a potion to restore it. Holy men ambushed me and forced me to guard a dragon egg. But the dragon has been reborn, and I am now free. Please find a potion to restore my memory.
From the Dragon King, we move to the guy in the background of the Pit 2 stage, otherwise known as Hornbuckle. Sorry, I meant Torch. Sorry, I meant Blaze. He debuted in Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance as an unlockable character. To unlock him and Mocap, you had to beat the Conquest mode. Once doing that, his bio revealed that this mysterious outworld elemental had been on a long quest throughout the realms. On his journey, he was ambushed on a bridge by an ancient sect of holy men serving the deceased Dragon King. Blaze was then captured and enslaved to protect the last known dragon egg. Does that sound familiar? At the end of Deadly Alliance, Onaga is released from the egg, and Blaze is freed from his duty.
But the dragon has been reborn, and I am now free.
Blaze returned in Mortal Kombat Unchained, the portable version of Deception. His bio in this game explains that he was created to monitor the strength of the world's combatants. Designed by Delia, wife of Argus, Blaze's purpose was to alert her sons when warriors became too powerful, and they would prevent Armageddon. However, one brother had already awakened. After his stint guarding the Dragon Egg, he is free to determine who has become too powerful while awaiting the return of the other brother, otherwise known as Taven. Blaze would then sound an alarm, drawing all warriors to the Pyramid of Argus for a final battle.
Blaze had completed the first of his duties. Soon he will begin the second, to lure warriors to the final battle. There they will challenge him, hoping to attain godlike power from his defeat. The arrogance of these warriors will be their downfall, for only a son of Edenia can unleash the true purpose of Blaze.
Two simultaneous storylines play out in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, one in Conquest and one in the actual Battle of Armageddon. In Conquest, Taven defeats Dagon but fails to defeat Blaze when the Pyramid of Argus rises.
One has fallen. Now you must fulfill your obligation.
Obligation? The quest destroyed my family. Explain to me why I should care.
Your mother, my creator, foresaw the coming Armageddon. That through Mortal Kombat, warriors would unknowingly tap into the very forces that make reality possible. Those warriors are in the crater below, engaged in Mortal Kombat.
All of them? But with that many fighting in one place...
This crater will be the origin of the apocalypse unless something is done to prevent it. The Elder Gods had ordered your father to orchestrate a solution. He decided to kill them all when the time came, but your mother argued to merely strip the combatants of their special abilities. For some were heroes, undeserving of death. No, Taven, I must act according to my creator's design. Take your sword, walk through the archway and finish the quest.
Instead, Shao Kahn is the canonical winner, as seen in the MK9 opening. He defeats Blaze and absorbs his essence, making him the most powerful being in the universe. Besides an appearance in the MKX Pit and the MK11 Crypt, Blaze has not resurfaced in the series. His special moves in Deadly Alliance and Unchained are all fire-based, as you'd expect, and are pretty basic, but nothing is more annoying than his Armageddon attacks. The Slam, Steamroller, charge up, and teleport are all devastating in their own way. Like Onaga, Blaze has 0 fatalities in any of his appearances. From Mortal Kombat 2 to Armageddon, Blaze had one of the best glow-ups in the game's history. He started out looking like a fire elemental from Heroes of Might and Magic 3, if anyone gets that reference, and became a gigantic fire monster. I think Blaze looks outstanding, and this is a character I'd like to see revisited in the future at some point. I found Blaze the most difficult boss character of the 3D era. Maybe that's because I fought him on the Nintendo Wii version using only Chameleon, but I could not figure out a reasonable strategy. It took me quite a few attempts to finally beat him, and when I did, it gave me a sense of accomplishment similar to defeating MK2 Shao Kahn. Of course, this is only my experience, so let me know how you dealt with Blaze in the comments. While not as fleshed out as Onaga, I place Blaze in a similar category. He's a really cool character, but with a slightly weaker backstory. Connecting this monstrous flame-covered final boss back to the guy in the MK2 pit stage is just so awesome to me though. Also, linking him to Onaga was a nice touch, putting these two in their own self-contained 3D era final boss faction of sorts. I feel that Blaze has become a forgotten relic of this interesting time in the Mortal Kombat series, and I'd like to see it explored further in a future title. But back on topic, Blaze has a cool look, mysterious background, and he gave me a lot of trouble that I wasn't expecting. It may be a hot take, no pun intended, but I'm putting Blaze in the A tier.
You look familiar.
We joined in combat against Dark Khan.
Whatever happened to Dark Khan?
Dark Khan?
Oh, that's right. You missed it.
2 final boss characters remain, and Dark Khan is up next. Those unfamiliar with the one-off MK vs DC game are probably wondering what this character is all about. Dark Khan is the final boss in the MK vs DC game. It's a merging of forces that combines Shao Kahn from the MK universe and Darkseid from the DC universe. A unique concept. The 2 monsters attempted to invade and take over Earth and Earthrealm, respectively. But once they failed, they merged together as a super final boss. This combination effectively began forcing the MK and DC universes to merge. This merger infected the heroes and villains of both universes with combat rage, making them more aggressive. Dark Khan's influence set the eventual destruction of both realities in motion. Superman and Raiden ultimately forced Darkseid and Shao Kahn to fight each other within Dark Khan's physical body.
Focus. We must focus. What are you doing?
If we fight together, we can channel his own energy against him.
Sounds like a plan.
Face each other or face me. It makes no difference. You will fight!
After the 2 separate, they end up in each other's universe, banished to the Netherrealm and Phantom Zone, respectively. Since this game is technically not canon, it doesn't factor into the overarching Mortal Kombat storyline. Although that didn't stop Injustice and Mortal Kombat from referencing this character multiple times. Dark Khan has many tricks, including blasts, grabs, spikes, stomps, and even a Shao Kahn hammer attack. However, given the DC tie-in, he has no finishing moves. I think Dark Khan is a decent looking character, but I don't get Darkseid or Shao Kahn vibes from him. You would think that this character would take the best parts of Darkseid and Shao Kahn and combine them into one, but that just doesn't seem to be the case. I'm unsure whether that's a good thing or not, but he definitely fits the bill of a final boss and looks the part. Out of all the bosses I've covered in the 3D era, Dark Khan was probably the second most difficult, only to Blaze. He reads your inputs and punishes any mistakes that you make, putting you right back to the classic era of Mortal Kombat, which is a nice touch. Unfortunately, Dark Khan's status as a one-off non-canonical character does not help his case in this video. This is almost the opposite of Onaga, who has an insanely cool backstory but doesn't deliver from a difficulty perspective when discussing final bosses. To me, Dark Khan is just the result of, hey, let's take this evil guy and this evil guy and combine them into one. I debated not even including him, but he is a final boss in the Mortal Kombat universe, so I had to fit him in somewhere. Being a final boss in this franchise should be earned, and this just doesn't feel earned to me. It's a cool concept, but on a list that includes Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, and Onaga, Dark Khan belongs in the D tier.
This was not your destiny, Shinnok. Once again, the Thunder God has upset the balance of history. But know this. The arc of the universe bends to my will. It is only a matter of time.
It's been quite the ride, but we have arrived at Kronika, the most recent addition to the list of Mortal Kombat Final Boss characters and the only female final boss to date. Known as the Keeper of Time, Kronika is the primary antagonist in Mortal Kombat 11. She is depicted as a Titan, and the mother of Cetrion and Shinnok. Kronika dictates the destinies of certain characters, and her time control allows her to dictate how storylines play out. Following the events of MKX, Shinnok's beheading at the hands of Dark Raiden angered Kronika, prompting her retaliation. Her motivation in MK11 is to erase Raiden from all timelines. She assembles armies to help her execute this plan, promising grandeur to Shao Kahn, D'Vorah, and others. She hopes to restore Shinnok and maintain the clashing forces of good and evil, with Cetrion representing good and Shinnok representing evil. Kronika appears early in the game, visiting her son's decapitated head. She then visits Revenant Kitana and Liu Kang in the Netherrealm. She reverses time, rebuilding the Revenant Palace, showcasing her true power. Kronika begins assembling an army that includes Geras, Shao Kahn, D'Vorah, Collector, and more. After visiting a retired former Revenant Jax, Kronika convinces him to acquire her crown, an item crafted using Shang Tsung's captured souls. Jackie Briggs and an alternate version of Jax prevent this theft, but Cetrion intervenes and captures it. Now in possession of the crown, Kronika can begin the next stage of her plan to rebalance time. Kronika visits Raiden and captures young Liu Kang before returning to her keep and readying her forces for an attack. Liu Kang then merges with Raiden, making him Fire God Liu Kang, who defeats Kronika and smashes her into a million pieces.
Is finished, Liu Kang.
In the Aftermath storyline, Liu Kang attempts to restart history. However, Shang Tsung, Fujin, and Nightwolf, who escaped from Kronika's void, inform Liu Kang and Raiden that time cannot be restarted without the crown.
Shang Tsung?
In defeating Kronika, you destroyed her crown. Without it, you can't restart history. The hourglass will shatter. All realms will be lost.
The crown was destroyed when Liu Kang defeated Kronika, and Shang Tsung convinces Liu Kang to allow him to go back in time and retrieve the crown before it ends up in Kronika's possession.
And together we'll defeat Kronika. With the crown and hourglass under our control, we can restart history safely.
Kronika is somewhat of a footnote in this storyline. Either Liu Kang or Shang Tsung ends up with the crown, depending on your chosen path. Either way, Kronika falls again, and canonically, Liu Kang restarts history. Kronika appears briefly in MK1 as a character named Damashi, which is a name we mentioned earlier. Later in the game, it is revealed that Damashi is actually Titan Shang Tsung from the Aftermath storyline. Kronika's moveset includes various energy burst attacks, a teleport, and a fireball, and she can even summon characters from other timelines to fight for her. A pretty interesting touch. Time manipulation also comes into play, which can be troublesome when you're fighting her. Perhaps the most annoying aspect of Kronika gameplay-wise is that she cannot be juggled, making combos useless. You also cannot use crushing blows or fatal blows on her. For all the hate Kronika gets, which is a lot based on what I've seen, I have to give props to her fatality because it's unhinged and an incredible use of her powers.
Finish her.
It's interesting that Kronika is Shinnok's mother, because they both instill equal amounts of fear, which is none. I look at this character and just feel it's not up to final boss standards. I understand NRS wanted to do something different rather than recycling the same villains over and over again, but Kronika does not solve that issue. Although I do think Kronika's appearance fits her Keeper of Time role, it does not strike fear as much as the others on this list. Kronika is actually fairly difficult to fight though. The fact that you can't combo her makes it challenging, and it took me a while to finally defeat her just on medium difficulty. She has unblockables, time manipulation, and she can call in other fighters to assist. So overall, it's a unique final boss encounter, but that's about the best I could say about it. And the moment you've all been waiting for. Where does he rank Kronika, you must be asking. Well, I think the criticism toward Kronika is warranted. She entered the franchise coming off the destruction of Shinnok, another character many fans do not like. Sticking her in the game as Shinnok's mother with this weird backstory about how she has essentially manipulated all of the events in the franchise is certainly one of the decisions in Mortal Kombat history. As a boss, I think it's fair to say that she's not very intimidating, ranking her in the same realm as Quan Chi and Shinnok from a pure aesthetic standpoint. Story-wise, calling Kronika underwhelming is an understatement, and it's yet another boss character that we may never see again. Don't get me wrong, the fight was difficult, but if that's all Kronika has going for her, that is a recipe for her to land in the D tier. And there you have it, all 8 Mortal Kombat final boss characters ranked. If I had to rank them from most difficult to least difficult without specific games in mind, it would probably go Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, Blaze, Dark Khan, Shinnok, Kronika, Quan Chi, and Onaga. This is by far my biggest project to date, and it's the culmination of about 3 weeks of scripting, recording, and editing. I tried to keep this video as short as possible, even though that may be hard to believe, but out of everyone in the MK universe, the boss characters have such deep lore behind them that I wanted to do them justice. Looking back, I think I could have knocked Onaga down just because he was such an easy fight, but the parameters go out the window when a character is that cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to leave your final boss rankings down below so we can discuss. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, I want to say thank you, and let me know what kind of tier list you'd like to see next. As always, thanks for watching, check out my other tier lists, and I'll be back with another video soon.